Are you looking for inspiring conversations about faith, film, and life? You're in the right place. Here's the host who knows the right questions to ask, Father Edward Looney.
Hey everybody, it's Father Edward. Grateful you're tuning in for another conversation. You're going to notice here in the next few weeks, maybe a few more episodes, a few more long-form interviews, all of that about film. There's a lot of great films coming to the theaters, and I want to highlight one today. It is called Bau, Artist at War, and it is a Holocaust movie, or, maybe we should call it the Shoah. I never know, what's the politically correct term there, but it's about World War II. It's about the concentration camps. It's about a love story that takes place in a concentration camp. So probably a different type of movie about in that genre than people have seen. Bau, Artist at War. A year ago, I think there was a movie, Irina's Vow. It was another Holocaust movie. I really loved that movie. And so this is another film that I think people will be able to fall in love with. I have Liv Harrison, who is a Catholic personality. She's had a few different talk shows, a few different podcasts, and currently doing some work with Catholic TV out in Boston, a carpool karaoke type show. So all very exciting things, but Liv was at the premiere. I was invited to the premiere, but it was on a Sunday. I'm a priest. That's not possible. But she was there, and I wanted to talk with her just about her whole experience of the premiere of Bau, Artist at War, her impressions of the movie. So thanks, Liv, for joining me today.
Hello, Father Edward. I am so excited. We used to talk all the time.
I know.
So I'm
it's
glad.
Great. I saw you were at this event. I'm like, oh, Liv is back, So
all right.
Sometimes you go on these social media hiatuses and all of that.
You do.
And so, I'm always very happy when you're back on the scene. And so,
all right.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be back. I've missed your face, but I see that you're doing so much great work out there. So I am thrilled to be back talking to you about anything, but especially this film, this film.
Yeah. So, Bau, Artists at War, the premiere was this past Sunday. It's now in theaters. So it is in theaters September 26th. You can go and check it out and support it this weekend on opening weekend. But how did you get involved? And what was your take as you went there? Because you actually talked to some of the talent and personalities and stuff.
Did.
So, what was your experience of the premiere like?
Yeah, I went there representing Catholic TV Network, which is out of Boston, which I live in Houston. So it's funny that I've got a TV job out of Boston, but I have a show with them called Catholic Carpool. It's a remote show. And they asked me because the PR director, Alexis, who is a very devout Catholic, had offered them, hey, why don't you guys come cover this? And they were like, well, you know what? We'll send Liv. And I gladly took the invitation. I've never done a red carpet before. That was my first time. It was a dream come true in Los Angeles at the Museum of Tolerance. And I got to speak to lots of people. I mean, it was just so fantastic. Actors, producers, the director, Sean McAfee, who is he's a devout Catholic, so just really exciting and awesome. I got to see the film before I went, and then I got to see the premiere there. And it's a true story about Joseph and Rebecca Bau, and their two daughters were at the premiere. So I got to say, I lost my mind. I mean, here are all these famous, actors and directors, and I was fangirling because here was the couple's kids. They're not little kids anymore, but that was really exciting. So yeah, lots of great people.
Yeah. So were you able to speak with the children too, or were you just talking to the talent? Yeah. And
I did.
What's something they told you when you asked a question? What was a takeaway from that conversation?
Yeah. So they were my first interview. So my first red carpet interview ever were the Bau sisters, and they came from Israel, and they're both married. I don't know how old they are, but they're definitely above their 50s. They were so adorable. They had matching blue sparkle dresses, and they were just full of life energy, just like their fathers. So when you see this film, Joseph Bau, who's played by Emil Hirsch, who I did get to interview Emil, has this bigger than life personality. There was a film a long time ago called Life is Beautiful. I don't know if you remember that
Yeah,
Holocaust
I
film.
love that movie. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant film. And so this is similar with a character that has a bigger than life personality who's in the concentration camp. And this love story between Joseph and Rebecca Bau, which I'm trying to remember what her maiden name was. But anyway, happened in the concentration camp and was highlighted in Schindler's List by Spielberg. Spielberg highlighted this love story because this couple did meet in the concentration camp in Poland. And then she was sent off to Auschwitz after they were married. They got married in the concentration camp. But here's the part that nobody really knew about, and this won't spoil too much, I promise. But they were a huge, both of them, both of these human beings, huge part of saving thousands of Jews out of the concentration camps by helping Oscar Schindler. So I was excited to ask the girls about their parents and the legacy of their mom and dad. And they shared a couple of amazing nuggets about that and how their love story was truly one that was like unlike any other love story that's existed. And I won't ruin how long they got to stay married and all that kind of stuff because I want people to see the film. But the daughters were absolutely lovely and loved their parents, and that was really cool to see.
Yeah, it was very interesting, of course, this crossover with Schindler's List, and it made you kind of, for me at least, it's like, I need to, I can't even tell you if I've seen Schindler's List in its entirety, which might be, kind of scandalous, to people that, great lover of film. Maybe I haven't seen, I don't have a memory of it, but it made me like seeing Oscar Schindler being portrayed in this film and the connection with Joseph and Rebecca Bau made me want to go watch Schindler's List and be like, okay. And then when you heard that the wedding that they celebrated, was featured in Schindler's List, like it made you want to go and to see it, to rewatch
Same.
that classic movie. So there's, like I said earlier, there's a lot of different Holocaust movies, from The Boy in the Striped Pajamas to, like I said, Irina's Pavao, The Book Thief. Like you could keep naming and listing every year, there's new movies in this genre. And so why do we keep having these movies about the
Mhm.
Holocaust? And
Mhm.
like, why do we keep reliving, this very like terrible, tragic moment in history?
I think what's so beautiful about this film, Bow, Artist at War, is that you're talking about putting a face to a time of humanity that is one of the darkest times that, if not the darkest time we've had on this planet. And I think if you can put a face and some type of humanity to these stories, these weren't just, millions of trees, millions of squirrels, millions of rocks. We're talking millions of human beings were murdered because of who they were. And so to hear their stories, especially the ones who made a tremendous difference in rescuing people and saving people and having joy and love in the darkest, deepest, terrible time of trauma and torture, and to see someone who was an artist who brought out the best in everyone, who brought out the best in the worst situation. We need stories like that. We need to fill the world and film with that type of story, that type of humanity, that type of connection.
Yeah, this is a question, like I've done hundreds of interviews and, probably a dozen interviews about Holocaust movies. And so, like, it's a question I ask, producers, actors, etc. And so, like, I think my answer to that question always is like, I think we keep telling these stories, not only to share these beautiful stories of people. So, but I think so that they're not forgotten. But I think it's
Mhm.
so that we don't forget that this happened. Because if we
Yes,
stop making movies about this, then we forget that episode in history and then, it happens again. But
correct.
if we keep it before us, well, then we don't forget. And we won't let this happen again. And we'll rise up against, some leader that would be leading us in a way like that. So, yeah, that's why I think like a movie of this sort is so very important. Of course, it's a love story, so that's kind of a beautiful little thing too. Different little take. I think someone said it might be the first love story about the Holocaust that's been told, but I don't know if that's true
Yeah.
or not. So,
I
um,
don't think there's many. If there are any others, this is the one, that everybody knows about Joseph and Rebecca Bau. So, did it happen? Sure, it could have, but we definitely know this one did.
yeah.
So, that's exciting.
Yeah, and so can you share a favorite scene or a favorite remembrance of the
Mhm.
movie?
Yeah. I think Emil Hirsch is brilliant in this film. And I was a fan of his before. I thought he was a great actor, but he really got to do like the entire spectrum from comedy to tragedy, to drama to courtroom scene. I mean, he got to do it all in this film. Love, I mean, name something and he did it. But there's this one scene that was my favorite where this young boy is thinking about running away from the concentration camp. And you can tell it in his eyes that he's just going to go for it. He's just going to, and he knows what's going to happen. If he tries to run away, the Nazis are going to kill him. You didn't have to do much for a Nazi to kill you if you were already in a concentration camp. There was not much you had to do. And this kid could see that, he was going to. He was just like, I don't care, because his sister had just been killed. And you see Joseph Bao intervene, and you see him take an interest in this young man. And he does this great scene with these cards. And I don't want to really share
Yep, yep.
too much more than that because it's just such a powerful scene. And I loved it. And I think it just really showed this beautiful human being just what, we are created from love. We are created by the creator of love. We are created, our creator is love, and we are, so blessed to have the God of the universe as our God. And he is all love. And so to see this exchange of love between two souls, not the love story love, but just the love story between two human beings, of one human being to another, and saying, you matter, and I want you on this planet. And what can I do to keep you from making this huge mistake? I don't think there's another example in that film that no one, especially in 2025, can't relate to, with everything that has been going on our planet. I don't need to rehash everything that's going on, in the United States or any place else. So that's pretty profound in today's day and age, for someone to stop another person and say, hey, I love you, you matter, and I don't want you going anywhere. And that was my favorite scene in the entire film. I loved it. So I'll leave it there. I
Yeah,
won't say too much more.
yeah, no, that's great. For me, I really loved the last, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the film. And
Yeah.
I think you already have come to a conclusion about what's going to happen in the movie. And then, you're surprised.
You are.
The surprise is there. And there's not just one surprise, but there's many surprises, in
Yeah.
those last minutes of the movie. And and like so much so, like I'm like, I can't believe that's true, but you look,
Mhm.
but then,
Yeah.
it's supported, and I'm like, wow. And so it's
Hmm.
just, yeah, incredible. So, yeah, Bao, Artist at War, in theaters
Yep.
now. Uh, People should go see it, right?
Oh, it is worth your money. It's worth your time. And it's something that we all desperately need right now. We need a really good, it's about as close to Hallmark as you can get for a Holocaust film. It's still a Holocaust film, but as far as they go, it's gonna be the least, difficult film to watch in that, in my opinion, in that genre. The love story is worth it. It is just fantastic, and absolutely everyone should go see it.
Well, definitely. You've seen it twice. I've seen it twice. And hopefully people listening, they'll at least go see it once. So, well, thanks so much, Liv, for jumping on and talking about your experience of Bao, Artist at War, especially since you were there for the premiere. And what a great experience that was for you and for Catholic TV, and now for all of us as well. So thanks so much, Liv.
If you liked today's episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you're listening. And don't forget to stay up to date with what Father Edward is doing by following him on Facebook or Instagram at the handle @FrEdwardLooney. Thanks for listening, and please join Father Edward again next time for another inspiring conversation.